Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. I'm not a doctor, but I'm a mom who lives life with the spectrum. And as we take the journey together, I promised you that we would be talking not just to families who are living life with the spectrum, but to all the wonderful professionals that deal with it as well on a day-to-day basis. And today I'd love to introduce Alyssa Walls. How are you, Alyssa?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing really good. Now, you work with Tender Ones Therapy, correct?
Correct.
And we've always talked about speech and language and OT and physical, but when it comes to leading edge therapies, tell me a little bit about what you and your facility are doing.
Okay, so we have a very exciting program called Stand Up Paddleboarding Aquatic Therapy. And it is where we take our children to the lake as part of their therapy. They can do physical therapy, OT, or speech at the lake. So we have lots of different options, and it's just a way to kind of get the kids out of the clinic and trying something new for the summer.
Do you feel like when you take the kids out and you're on a paddleboard in the water that you have a different experience with them in a therapy session than you would like day to day coming to the clinic? You kind of get more out of them?
So yes, I've always said I try to base it off how I feel in the outdoor setting, and then I can just kind of imagine how my kids are feeling. I know when I'm inside all day and I have light shining down on me and I'm not breathing fresh air, I kind of just like am itching to get outside. So I think
Right.
for some of these kids, they are getting to be outside. They're trying something that they might have never tried before. They get the opportunity to, once they do their work on the paddleboard, they get to jump in and swim around. They get to see wildlife at the lake. We have deer that sometimes visit us. We have ducks that come visit us. We have fish that are swimming all around us, and so it's a great opportunity to get them outside the clinic, and it's a good opportunity for them to kind of experience the world in the outdoor setting as opposed to inside.
And now, when it comes to therapy, let's say, for instance, we were coming to see you on a Wednesday. Is this something that you also offer, maybe like camp settings type thing, because it's taking off in the world of ASD?
Yes, yes. So we do have a paddleboarding camp that we do as well, and it's paddleboarding as part of the camp, but it's also an OT PT camp. And so what they'll do is they come from 9 to 12 for a week, and they're paired with volunteers. And we have volunteers that are exercise science students, future PT, OT, speech, future nurses, teachers, doctors, whoever needs their hours, they come and volunteer. And so
Okay.
each camper is paired with a buddy, and then they will spend half the time on the water, half the time on land. We do camp songs, we make creative snacks, and lots of fine motor activities on land, and then lots of fun on the water, paddleboarding, swimming, different games. It's super fun.
Now, we're based here in Atlanta, Georgia. Where is this paddleboard therapy available for families that live either in the metro or greater Atlanta?
So it's at Lake Lanier,
Okay.
Bamtu Park South. So that's in Flowery Branch. It's about 20 minutes from our Decatur location and about 25 minutes from our Gainesville location. But we've had parents travel from outside of Georgia to come to camp, and they will just get an Airbnb for a week and come to camp and then explore the rest of what Atlanta has to offer. So we've had some campers cut. You don't have to be in Georgia. So it's definitely, and you don't have to be a TOTS patient either. So I think that's
Oh,
something
okay.
that is kind of unique, is that we will take as anyone who wants to attend camp. It's not, you don't have to do it for therapy. We do market it as a therapy camp because they are getting all of those skills. They're getting to work on those skills, social skills and gross motor skills and fine motor skills. But really our focus of camp is more about fun, just having a fun outdoor camp experience and just getting to know other kids their age, older or younger, and having a buddy to just kind of help them along as they need throughout the camp.
Alyssa, you were mentioning that people come from far and wide to come to this paddleboarding camp. Is that because, well, I guess it's a twofold question. One, this kind of therapy isn't so widely known yet, and it's starting to pick up steam. So more and more states and cities are starting to see some sort of movement, or is it, I mean, the only place in America that people can come? Can you tell me just a little bit more about, I mean, obviously we're here in Georgia, so it makes sense, but is it not being offered in other states?
So, not that I'm aware of. I have talked to a couple clinicians, some in Idaho, Denver, Texas, that are working on trying to develop the paddleboard therapy program there. There is one place in Texas, the Shorkey Center. They have started a paddleboarding program this year, and they have loved it. The feedback that I've gotten, and so I mean, of course, we want it to be all over the place. That is probably one of my biggest dreams about this paddleboarding aquatic therapy, is for it to take off and be offered everywhere. Hopefully, that's what we're working towards, and we've done a lot of research, and we were recently published at how paddleboarding is working, because we know in order for it to kind of take off and be a thing that other places will do, we have to have research behind it. So we are working hard to get the research and the evidence to support that it's
So
working.
we're here speaking with Alyssa Walls, who is on the cutting edge of therapy in the world of ASD. Alyssa works with Tender Ones Therapy up in Tacula, and we've been speaking about paddleboarding therapy. Now, I, as a parent who has therapied my child out, so to speak, would ask one question, and it's probably the most important question: is this kind of therapy, Alyssa, covered by insurance?
So yes, it is covered by insurance, because it's a type of aquatic therapy, number one. But the other thing is the paddleboard is a balance tool. Okay, so it is used to work on balance, strength, coordination. Really, a lot of the things that we do in the clinic, if we're on a compliant surface or working on a Bosu ball or working on a foam mat, we can do that on the paddleboard. So yes, it is covered by insurance, and in my opinion, it's a more fun, interactive environment. They do what they need to do on the board, they paddle around, and then they get to jump in the water and swim around, and then they work on transitions, pulling themselves back up on the board. We've done yoga on the board. We have done
Maybe it's a
sit-ups,
good
planks.
workout for mom and dad too.
Yeah, it's a workout. Honestly, it's a workout for, I mean, it's a workout for the therapist, it's a workout for the kid. And we've had lots of parents end up buying paddle boards. So it can be like a whole family oriented sport, because it's something that the kids can do on their own or with their parent on the back of the board with them. And then I personally think it's a great bonding experience. It gets them out of the house and gets them active, which I know can sometimes be a challenge, trying to get them moving and grooving. So this is very motivational for kids, not only on the spectrum, but with lots of different diagnoses.
Yeah, Down syndrome, MS, and all kinds of things. Sure. Let me ask you another question here. One of the viewers is writing in and asking, because sometimes it takes for so long, you can repeat yourself over and over again with questions or trying to get something from someone who is on the spectrum. Would you say it's easier, or have you found this aquatic therapy and paddleboard therapy in particular easier to get the kids to engage? Is it like repeating yourself over and over again, or is it like, oh my gosh, I'm on a paddleboard, I need you, and then they are in the zone and they're engaged with you?
Yeah, so I have found the kids that I've worked with on the spectrum, that I repeat myself maybe towards the beginning of the summer, a little bit, but then towards the end of the summer, it's like I say one thing and they do it. And their attention, I find their attention span increases. They follow directions and commands a lot more. And I don't know if it's because they're engaged, because there's so many things around them to kind of look at and keep them busy and excited about. I don't know if it's because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm on this paddleboard, I better do what she says. And, and then I get into the water. Like I don't really know what it is. I don't know if it's the fact that there's sun shining on their face. So they just are so happy to be outside that they are regulated and they're going to listen to what I have to say. Or I don't know if because they're on an unstable surface, it's kind of kicking in their proprioceptive system. And so then they're calm and they're able to follow direction. I don't know if it's because when they get to jump into the water, they get all of that input and it feels good. So then they're regulated. I don't know what it is, but right. I do know that I have found a lot of my kids are a lot more motivated to attend. They're waiting in the car, getting ready to go to therapy before it's even time. I've had several parents
they're
tell
excited.
Me,
sure.
They're in the car, ready to go.
And I would think that I would also think that it helps with a little bit of executive function too, with the fact that they kind of have to motor plan. Like, at first you tell them, right? You're like, okay, we're going to get on this life jacket. We're going to do this, and you're going to plan out how it all happens. And for people on the spectrum, motor planning can be very difficult. It's one of the executive functions a lot of people lack. So I would imagine it helps them with those executive function skills to, hey, I've got to do this, and this, and then, now I'm up. And they can go from there.
And that's kind of I was just going to say, that's kind of the exciting thing to watch, is that you see in the beginning, you're kind of having to give a lot of cues on what you need to, how you need to follow, and the commands of, okay, put your hand here, put your hand there. And then as you kind of as they kind of figure it out and find their bearing. So sorry about that.
That's that sound again. Time's not up with you, Alyssa. We are speaking with Alyssa Walls from Tender Ones Therapy. It's up in Tacoola, and they are on the leading edge of aquatic therapy, which of course involves paddleboard therapy, taking it to Lake Lanier. And of course, it's a little too big to have in a swimming pool in case a child falls off. So bringing it to a lake in the warmer months is certainly an option. And now, Alyssa, if someone wants to get in touch, because I know that you're always looking for volunteers. And like you said, it's a great opportunity for people looking to get those hours, whether or not they're going to school for PT, OT, any kind of therapy, or a doctor or a sports medicine. I mean, this is a great opportunity, and it's a great opportunity to give back to those kiddos. So how can volunteers sign up for possibly next season?
Okay, so they can go to tenderonestherapy.com. And if you click on the tab services provided and go down to aquatic therapy, we have a paddleboarding camp page that will give you a little bit more information about camp. And then there will be a link to fill out your information and sign up to volunteer. It's a great way to figure out if you want to do P's or not. It's a great way to get back to the community. It's a great way to learn more about PT, OT, and speech, and kind of figure out if that's kind of what your career path that you want to take.
And now for parents who look towards third-party waivers, is camp covered? Can they use their money from GCCS or from any of the third-party waivers that come through for camp?
Yes, they can. I think it kind of depends. So I know some waivers work, some don't. I don't know off the top of my head which ones do. I do know that sometimes private insurance will pay for camp too. So there's lots of different options available, and you can talk to our front office about that, and they will let you know if if they're eligible insurance wise, or if there's some other waivers that will pay for camp. But we have had several campers that either go through insurance or go through their waivers.
How long, Alyssa, have you been doing this paddleboard therapy?
So we started in 2015. So we've done 8 seasons, which we just wrapped up our 8th season, which is super exciting. I can't believe it's been 8 years. And then we have been doing camp for the past 5 years. So camp came around a little bit later. We first started with individual session, kind of wrapping our head around what we were doing at the lake. And then we went for camp, and because we decided that like it might not be something for that they want to do every week, but it might just be something that they would do for a summer camp. So that, we have some patients that participate in weekly session and some that do camp and some that do both. It just, whatever.
It
I
just
guess it
depends on
depends on
them.
how much. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Now, is there anything that we can kind of try to, like, for instance, for people who are watching out of state who would like to bring this paddleboard therapy maybe to a clinic to them, how should they get in touch with you directly, Alyssa, or should they contact Tender One's therapy directly?
So I would go ahead and contact Tender One's Therapy, and then they will give their information to me. I mean, I'm fine to give my information out as well.
Sure.
If you are interested in starting a program, you can email me at Alyssa, ALYSSA at tenderones.com. And if you're interested in volunteering, you can also reach out to me. And then if you're interested in either doing individual sessions or signing up for the camp, email Todd's office at tenderones.com.
Now, one last thing before we start to kind of wrap things up here. I would imagine with so many kids on paddle boards, you might be going through paddle boards a little bit more than the normal person. So say, for instance, an organization like REI or another big outdoor company would like to help facilitate this great therapy. Oh my gosh, I so want to bring Lyric out to the lake one day just to have some
No, you
fun and see
should.
if
You
he'd like it.
totally should. Absolutely, yes.
Can REI or pick another outdoor company, can they give you these paddle boards? Can they give you, what can they give you? What do you need? I think that would be a great place to start.
Yeah, so we're always working for paddle boards, right? Inflatables or hard boards, either one. And yes, you're right, with the amount that we use them for camp and individual session, and they can get a little beat up and worn out, right?
Sure.
So that's the big thing. Paddles, life jackets,
paddle boards,
any of
life
those things.
jackets, that anything, maybe
Yep.
even water shoes.
Uh, everyone either has their own or we don't wear shoes. So I
Okay.
mean, I would always take them if they want to donate them. But that really the biggest thing is the paddle boards, life jackets, even kayaks. So we brought kayaks to the lake as well. And so kayak paddles are also something that we could use. So yeah, we are always down to have donation because it can get expensive to keep buying paddle boards.
Oh, yeah.
But we do appreciate anything that anyone is willing to give. We just got a couple of donations from the community to 3 paddle boards, so that was very exciting. We always appreciate any donation.
Well, I think we need to go after the big guys. REI, if you're listening and watching, we want you to donate some paddle boards. You know you're going out of season. Let's put it and put that money to the test and really make a difference in some great kiddos' lives. Alyssa, one more time, how can we get in touch with Tender One's therapy, both for regular OT speech, physical, and then, of course, this aquatic therapy again?
So you can call our number at 770-904-6009 or email at Todd's office at tenderones.com. We have our website you can look at, tenderone'stherapy.com. And then we also have a Facebook and Instagram. Instagram has all of our reels and very fun stories about the lake, about all of our therapies that we do. And that is tender_ones. So lots of ways that you can kind of get in touch with us.
I love, love, love the fact that this is kind of innovative therapy. Anytime we can make therapy fun for kids and adults, young teenagers, then it takes it to a whole new level. And I'm so happy that you joined me today, Alyssa. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing for all the kids who are kind of struggling and challenges and the families too. I bet this is a nice little break for them having to, not go to one therapy center over and over and over and actually get out and have some fun on the lake as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's therapy for everyone. Being outdoors is therapeutic in and of itself. So, but thank you so much for having me on, and we really appreciate the opportunity. And it was so fun.
And she just froze there. I've been once again speaking with Alyssa Wells from Tender Ones Therapy, again about paddleboard and aquatic therapy. If you'd like to get in touch with them, of course, tenderonestherapy.com online. And as we live life with the spectrum, I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. I'm not a doctor, but I am a mom who lives life with the spectrum. And I promise you that no question is too big or too small. Please like, comment, share below. Get in touch with me. If there's somebody I need to be speaking with, I want to know. So DM me. I'm all over socials. I'm right here on YouTube. You can put the comment below and I'll make sure to reach out. Until next time, we live life with the spectrum. We'll see ya.